but it's like slowed down. Like we're not even talking about that anymore. Right. Expanding. I'm like, no, hold off, because we're not even full with what we have. You know, so we chose not to.
Okay.
Instead, we just moved the pre-K 3 and pre-K 4 out, and then redesigned the rooms to get more space. But
so it's pretty much saying you wouldn't even consider it. Is that fair to say for those you wouldn't even consider?
Not at this point.
Yeah, not at this point. Okay, we're not signing anybody up for this. We're just curious, and I think they're curious too, because truth be told, they haven't had a lot of takers, and none of them have been in deserts throughout the state. So okay, so tell me, what would it take to serve more infants? So you're saying you'd need money to build.
I would need to move my whole center.
Okay.
We're on 2 floors.
Right, so you're not going
Can't
up.
move up, and we have every room that the church will give us, we've gotten already downstairs. So unless we, did some crazy things and really limited our toddlers, and switched some rooms around to get bigger spaces and whatever, we would need to move.
Well, if you need to make it more total infants just so much more financially attractive to make people. Now, I'm not saying that's a good idea, because you'll cause effect someplace else, but just put that aside. But that, until that happens, I don't see anybody going that route. I mean,
anybody else?
We could take more infants. I would love to take more infants. I don't know how to crack the staffing problem, and we would need financial. Go back to Grow New Jersey Kids. We would need some relief from the burden of maintaining everything that needs to be maintained. That we have to pass along in tuition. Tuition is prohibitive, and I cringe every year. But we'd love to serve more infants.
I could take infants. I have the space and I have the staff. I just don't have the infants.
So you have space.
Yeah, my infant room can hold 8. There's 5.
So you could, but now
and
I'm
then 2
to
are like almost merging over to the next room, and I have 2 teachers in there every day. And they want to be in there. They don't want. They are more upset that there's no infants, because they love the infant room and they hate when they have to go in another room. Because if 2 call out, I'm like, okay, Dee, you're going in this room today because so and so's sick, and they're like, no, what did I do to deserve this? They just want to be in the infant room. So I have the opposite problem. I have 2 teachers that want to be in there and hate going anywhere else, that love infants. I just don't have infants. Wow. And I have space.
Would Jonah be eligible? I don't.
So do something for me, please.
No, she wouldn't be eligible for the $100.
No, because
she's already.
She has space.
Yeah, she has space.
Yeah.
Wait, what town were you in?
Whippany.
Let's look at the Whippany numbers.
Let's go to the data.
Yeah, what's going on with Whippany? I don't know.
What's going on?
I heard it was 18 daycare centers in that area, so I don't know what.
Okay, why is it not here, Whippany?
Oh, that's probably why. We're not even on the map.
Would it be Hanover?
You're not a desert.
Hanover Township.
Okay,
yeah, we'll go under Hanover Township.
No, Whippany would be on there.
Including Cedar Knolls and Whippany.
Yes, that's us.
Okay, so you have 10 centers with infants and toddler space. About 617 slots. Okay, so here's your problem.
What's my problem?
You have too many. You are the estimated number of infants with care, 252. So you have more spaces than in kids. In Whippany, this is Whippany, Cedar Knolls.
Cedar Knolls, yeah. Hanover Township,
Yeah, that's the. You don't see that often.
One of those is the Y.
There's 4 right on our road, right on South Jefferson.
But one of those is the Y and the Morris area Y, which is, I don't know how many kids they think.
I'm trying to think.
They have.
So you gotta move to Booton, Joanne.
Right there.
So she's not a desert.
Because they have nobody. They have no care there.
The Richard, the Blake
Yes,
Center is there.
I'm sorry, what?
I
You're not a desert.
I'll refer people to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Because
appreciate
we're right
it.
on the Whippany border.
Where are you? Parsippany?
Yeah, we're on Reynolds Ave.
Oh, okay.
So-
you're right there too.
Let's send
It's not that
them.
fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send them.
Yeah, send them over.
So we have people now that are coming for tours for January of 2020 for the baby room.
I mean, we have. This week, I'm saying there was 5 just yesterday, today, tomorrow, and I was like, wow, what happened? Like all of a sudden, it's just like,
Throw them.
wait,
some
you want
kind
the
of
infant room?
incentive.
I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's like all of a sudden, it was like every phone call was like infants. I'm like,
Tell them you'll
Okay.
give them free diapers and wipes
yeah,
for
something.
Yeah.
3 months.
Yeah.
If they,
I
waive
know.
your registration fee, exactly.
Oh, we've
Yep.
done that. We're even doing a free week if you enroll, and like I said, I even we're doing cameras now, which I don't want to ask a question, but can I just go sidetrack a minute? Does everybody have cameras? Like,
No.
oh, you don't. Okay, so that's not a big thing because everybody's like, oh, you don't have cameras. I want to watch my kid nonstop every day on my computer, and I'm like,
That's when you need to educate the
Rebecca,
parent
what do
why
you
the
know about
cameras
that?
are not
so like
Oh,
I was
cameras.
wondering,
Yeah,
like
do-
maybe
They do ask us, but we don't have that in our
Right.
system. So we
Yeah.
just say you have to call and you have to
Right,
see
so-
who has room. You do the legwork
So
kind
do
of
you
thing.
think that's a big thing? Like, do you find that it's like people don't care, or they do
We
care,
notice
or
that
they
parents don't realize that they have to start looking as soon as they're pregnant. Like
Yeah.
they don't
Yeah.
realize that there's a huge waiting list
Right.
Right.
to most that is in the area to them. Like they don't realize that, and they call us and they're like, "Oh crap!
What am I
I start
gonna
work
do?"
in a week." And
Right.
Oh
And
my
I think
God.
that's
Look
what
for care.
turns people to in-home care or nannies because they're like, I can't find a care in a center anyway, so let me hire this girl to come to my house, and then it works out for them,
Right.
or things get
That's it.
They
comfortable.
didn't realize the
hold on
cost.
to it.
They didn't realize. 'Cause
Right.
the public calls us for referrals, not just subsidies.
Right.
And they don't realize the cost.
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, I thought it was like $150 a week. That's how much my mom paid my grandma to watch me every
Yeah.
day."
My best conversations
So they
are.
don't. They don't realize.
How much are your rates? Oh, yeah. Would you like to schedule? First, it's would you like to schedule a tour? Oh, absolutely. Well, wait. Can I get your rates? And I give them rates, and they're like, actually, I need to talk to my husband first. I'll call you back. And then you don't hear back from them.
Yeah.
Now, how do you refer them? Like,
Well, we can't give recommendations. They usually just give us.
like a criteria? And then,
They usually just say, I'm looking for childcare in this area. So we'll say near your home, near your work, in between. So we kind of geocode it,
Okay.
and then we give them the childcare centers in the area. So our system doesn't differentiate between who does and doesn't take subsidy. And then, to be honest, a lot of parents don't know about family child care providers. So when we mention it, they're like, no. And then once they go out and realize the cost, then they come back in and we kind of have to educate them on what a family child care provider is. And that we only give referrals to ones that are registered in the state.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what? I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, that's fine.
But say there's like 10 in Whippany, Hanover, and somebody says like, I'm looking for a daycare in Whippany. Do you give them all 10? Like everybody?
Yeah, so they'll give us an address. Let's say my job is in Whippany. I want something around there? So we'll say, how many do you want? Do you want us to look within 5 miles? Do you want us to look within 10 miles? And then we'll give them the list from there.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to shift a little bit. Some 2 big issues that are unrelated to this. So it looks like we have a governor, our Senate president, and our speaker who seem to be simpatico about increasing the minimum wage to $15 by 2024. So we want to know, what does that mean for your programs?
It would really hurt us. I mean, we're small, not for profit. And, if you're starting minimum wage at that, you have to bump up everybody else.
Right.
It's the compression issues that really hurt. We've tried to be, that's partly why our rates are so high, because we've tried to be proactive. You can't swallow that in a year.
So it wouldn't be a year.
We've-
You're looking at
no,
like
no,
a...
no,
yeah.
I know. But what I mean is, even the climb from, what is it now, 10?
No,
I'm gonna
it's
say 8.
8 something.
Okay,
It's
but it's
going
going
to 10.
to, it goes
It
to
would go to
10.
10,
Yeah,
yes. I'm sorry,
I
yeah.
think it's 10:50 in July.
Yes.
And then 11 in January. And we knew that was coming. I mean, you might not know when, so we just did rate increases this past year just to try and keep a little bit ahead of the curve. The rock and the hard place are getting closer together because you can't get people, so you need to pay as close to as high as you can, And then minimum wage is going to push that, and the compression issues for staff that, again, like yourself, we have staff. I have staff that were there when my kids were there,
Right.
and they're wonderful, but they should not pay the price of having been in at the at their original rates.
So is that, do you feel the same way, or?
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head between a rock and a hard place. Yeah.
So what has to happen to, move the rock and the hard place apart a little bit? What do you think should have to happen?
Rates are going to go up, aren't they? Mm-hmm. It's going to show up in the rate.
I would love for parents, just like you described the situation of parents not, they call up and what you tell them what it costs. I don't know what percentage of infant inquiries is the first child, but if those calls from a first-time parent, they have no clue. They don't swim in those waters. They haven't got the buzz on what rates are and how the process
early you
works.
need to. Yeah.
They don't, so they know nothing. I think if there was more public information out there so that people were more aware of what the cost of care was, then, the concurrent conversations about minimum wage and what the impact of that is on, industries like ours, I think people wouldn't be as surprised because they really don't know. They have no idea why it costs what it costs.
Molly, you said about rates. What rates are you
Tuition
talking?
rates are going to go up. I mean, that's the bottom line in the end. It's all going to trickle down. And rates are going to have to go up.
It has to.
Some might go out of business because they can't put the rates up.
They can't.
Because they can't put the rates up.
Yeah.
They're depending on what population they're serving. But that will affect us. That will hurt what schools are able to give us in the rate.
Well, then the desert starts to expand.
Yes, correct.
Are closing your infant rooms ever talked about when you talk about how much it's going to cost? Or?
We closed one room as it was because you've got to run it at close to maximum capacity, and so that your staffing isn't, you've got to have 2 staff, and running it like Joanne said, 5 children, you need to get it. Maybe not at 8, but you got to get it more than 5. And if you can't, sometimes it just doesn't make any sense.
Can I ask another side question? So you're talking about full enrollment, and if a baby is sick and they're on subsidy, and you lose dollars because they're not there for a length of time, is that something that's been impacting anyone?
Not really.
No.
So you only get paid if you turn up?
Yeah.
80%. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a percentage of attendance rate, and then they're allowed 2 sick days for a 2-week period of time, or doctor's notes and all that stuff.
Right.
I mean, my biggest issue is the location of my swipe clock and their classrooms. It's honest. I'll have the swipe clock is right outside my toddler room, and so my infants and toddlers have no problem swiping. But as soon as their kid transitions upstairs, it's a whole nother ball game. But that's again a side note where it's just how.
So you've lost dollars because of swiping. Right?
I mean, I'm on top of my swipes probably 3 times a week. I'm in there checking and making sure people are. Get back down here. I've chased people to cars, legit. You've got to come and swipe. Today's your last day to do these things. And if you've forgotten your attendance, here's a copy of our attendance slip, so you know when you were actually here and times and whatever. But it does get a little hairy. It can. But we in our agreement with them, we say that if we've lost payment due to their negligence, then they're responsible for that.
You know what, too?
Will you charge the parent?
I will.
If,
If I can't get a discrepancy
pay,
form or manual logs because CFR is like I've had enough too, like I'm not paying you whatever, then yeah, we will charge the parent.
And how about, so even when they're sick or it's sick, you don't?
No. If they've swiped in a sick day and it's all in good form and it's within policy, then it's fine.
Okay. Because most centers operate on, they get paid whether the child comes or not.
Right.
Okay.
I'm talking about families who it's the week before Christmas break and they've forgotten to swipe in or out the last few days. I know that they've been there. I've told them you got to make sure you're up to date on your swipes because we're closed for 10 days and you're going to lose that 13-day window. Catch up. And even though I've seen them face to face knowing that they know they need to do it, and then I come back from break and we've lost days and then we get, a lapse in payment, that's when I'll charge them.
Okay.
I also
same.
have a
The
few
same. We do the same.
calls that we have got from parents that don't qualify based on the income, and I find that to be very challenging because they're single or parents that are currently here, they're single mom or whatever situation, and they don't make a lot, and they say I called and I don't qualify.
You send them to us.
Yeah,
we usually
do. Yeah,
That's what we're there for when these guys.
Because when there's we tell them even if you called and you're not eligible, just apply because then we send them a resource packet. So we send them stuff with preschool management.
Yeah, it's really sad. I have a mom now that she's just she took a third job. Send them to me. I will, and I'm like,
See how good this is together.
Nice networking.
oh my God, it's so sad, and I'm just and she's like, I took the third job just so I can make a little bit more, and it bumped me up. Now I don't qualify for $400. I missed out by $400. And you don't want to go and say, well, quit that job and go get, she's doing the honorable thing, but I'm like...
We get them all the time. I just got promoted at work and I'm $50 over. And it's entirely losing.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like,
and it's sad because I'm like, I don't know what to do for them. And I keep calling and I'll say, are you sure?
So, Molly, can you say what do you do in those situations? So,
they apply to us, and we don't have hard and fast income things, and certainly our income requirements would be a lot higher than
But what age is this? Is it preschool
3s and 4s?
No, I'm talking babies.
Babies.
That's what I'm talking about, like the toddlers and babies and infants and 18-month-olds that.
Yeah, I can't help you with those.
Yeah,
but we get the three.
Okay, so I want to make sure. So we have a better. So 15 at the minimum wage. You see that this will detrimentally affect your programs.
Oh yeah.
And that overall, Rebecca, I'm looking at your face. So overall, there may be programs that close because of it. I'm not saying necessarily your programs, but you're seeing that this is it will be detrimental.
We've had people call who are like, "Can you help us build a business model?" And we're like, "Well, that's not our specialty per se, but we know people and we'll help you." But if you're paying 4 people $15 an hour and you're not making a profit, you have to have preschoolers and.
Right.
And you can't have just a daycare center with infants and toddlers. You have to have preschool to take up the difference.
Right.
So,
right.
But meanwhile, preschool expansion.
And that's my next question, Harry. This is a good segue. So I just want to make sure it's 15. Let me just ask you, here's my advocacy. Anybody talk to your legislators about this? You did, Harry. Great. Who did you talk to?
What's her
I'm trying to think who's here.
yeah, here.
Munoz? Who's here? Who's your
State
legislator?
or federal?
No, state. Local. Milo Jassy.
Oh, Milo Jace. That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Okay, so you talked to Milo Jace.
She's been to the center.
Right.
I mean, she's a huge advocate.
She is.
And she's been wonderful.
So she's heard about this.
Yes.
Okay, great. I can go back to her staff because I work with her staff a lot.
Isn't it being voted on today? The minimum
No.
wage?
I think was it voted?
It wasn't as of yesterday.
I thought it saw on
So
the
it would
news
say
this morning.
Thursday. So it might be today.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's in both houses though.
Oh.
Maybe one of the houses today. One of the Assembly or the Senate. I
So-
don't know.
They only said ones would be farm workers and not.
I mean, I think.
Included.
Look, as an advocacy organization, of course we believe in the $15 minimum wage, but there has to be some give, whether it's an increase in the subsidy rate that parallels the increase in the reimbursement rate. You know, when I look at Morris County, while you serve low-income children, you have other families that are not low-income. When you go to some of our communities, and we're located in Newark, where everybody's on subsidy, everybody's eligible. I don't know what's going to happen in those programs.
I also think there's a huge difference between a high schooler making 15 an hour and a working mom who's trying to support her family.
I absolutely agree.
And I'm not sure if they heard that.
Yeah.
Because you guys weren't at the table when this was decided.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go into preschool expansion. So as you know, in the last 2 years, there have been state funding to expand our really nationally recognized model of preschool, state-funded preschool, to other communities. You have, I'm trying to think if I have the list. I'll tell you which districts are eligible. You may know.
Yeah, there's four of them.
Did I take this
3
out?
of them have got it.
So certainly Dover, which has not participated.
Dover, Morris, Morton, and Bruton.
Yes.
I think that's it. You've got it.
Yes.
So you know who they are. You know that a couple of things. So Dover has not been interested. That's a whole other issue. Wharton has. The ones that have applied certainly have not applied in reflection of their whole universe of 3 and 4 year olds. It's a small percentage that they're taking. So I guess, tell me about preschool expansion in your communities. Actually, I'm thinking, are there more? Where the heck is my list? Are there, tell me what you're doing, tell me what you think about preschool expansion, what you think is good, what you think is bad, let me know. And let me know if you have talked to your districts.
Were we planning on going until about 3?
No. we got 17 minutes. I'm going to be respectful of your time. But tell me what's going. Harry, tell me what district you're in. I'm sorry.
Madison.
Madison. That's right. Okay.
Well, I'm in Morris,
Yes, you are.
and we're hopping on that bandwagon. Assuming the funding will actually come through, which it's all but, written in stone at this point. We are offering them a classroom for their pre-K expansion.
And are
Morris
they
School
interested
District.
in that?
Yeah, they
Great.
They don't have much other choice.
Yeah.
Is this Morris?
Morris County has
They're
like
sucking up
600 or
everything.
700 3s and 4s to accommodate,
Yeah.
hypothetically. And I think they're funding, at this point, they have space to fund like 250.
Within their own building.
No, and that's with
that's
our
with
partner
all the partners.
centers too. So that's at their location. That's under the WISE umbrella, and Neighborhood House and Head Start.
Is that only for schools under licensing or any preschools?
So
What's the criteria?
the criteria, now a whole third entity coming in, which is just too much. They need X amount of square footage, which is not the same as
750
licensing.
square feet.
Which
You have
is,
to-
yeah.
That's the
and you have a
minimum.
classroom for that?
Yeah, one. And only 15 to a class.
Right. But the amount of money you're going to get is.
But does it have
per
to be,
child.
like, we were licensed 0 to 6, then when we moved our 3s and 4s out, we moved them over to our sister school, but they don't fall under Office of Licensing, they're just a private school. Will they take children if it's
You have
not?
to be licensed.
Yeah.
To realize.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot of space
And
there.
then you have to grow New Jersey kids.
You have
So
to
you
be
have to be included.
in
You have
to get to
grow.
register.
But you could not, Joanne, I'm thinking about you because you have to follow one of those curricula.
Yeah,
Okay,
and I don't think
then
they would
forget
do a religious
Okay.
base.
No,
Yeah.
No, they won't.
They absolutely would.
They would.
Yeah.
They
Public
absolutely.
school.
It's you've got a church and state issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
These are state dollars.
yeah. I mean, the funding is
Great.
higher than our tuition rate, that's for sure, but it's a September to June thing. Our teachers in that room will have to be paid considerable
Comparable.
to what an actual teacher makes, and the classroom can close on snow days, the classroom can close on spring break, the classroom can close for the summer. I can also upcharge for those days. I can say, oh no, we're open, but it's a separate charge for families who, whatever. But then I need wraparound care because our teachers will have to be during those school hours. So I'll need before and after care teachers to accommodate the ones who want to be there, which is going to be 100% of our population. I already have the 15 kids.
And then you can upcharge for that. too.
And I can upcharge for before and after care.
And you can, if there's subsidy, you can get subsidy.
And yep. So
Wow.
there'll be
So it's almost
wraparound
like its
care.
own private little school.
It will be one classroom completely.
But
Yeah.
let's stop.
Wait, going back, you said you cannot charge for before and after
I can.
care? You can,
Yeah.
okay.
So they're funding us just for that school
The 6
time,
hour
that
day.
6 hour, whether it's
Right,
8 to 2
okay.
or, yeah.
Okay.
And you have to implement what the curriculum of
Curriculum has to be, creative, or tools. I think we were given, we used to be a Tools of the Mindset, well, 2 of our classrooms, because we were part of their alley program, which was a much smaller preschool expansion. And the district was Tools, so we were Tools. And then they allowed us to switch to creative. So those 2 classrooms that were Tools we're rushing them out to creative curriculum trainings because so much better. We'll be one unified center now, which will be nice. But there's a lot of, to me, I'm not the one cook in that kitchen. It's our executive director with the Y who's really been handling it. So I'm just hearing like the trickle down of it and how it's going to personally affect our center. But the big question is how long is this money going to be around for?
Okay. I had a really interesting dinner last night. I met with Steve Barnett.
Oh.
I was talking with Steve and Ellen Free.
I was with Ellen yesterday afternoon.
Their view of the world, and we're hearing this consistently, and that's why I wanted to ask you, is any monies that's been committed, you can feel relatively comfortable. They're not going to take it away. I'm here. I heard the first time we heard it, we went yeah. But everybody I'm talking to, and these are people I know, and I want to ask you the same
I
thing.
think from a policy standpoint, it's really hard to take the money away now.
It's-
It's like Obamacare. Now remember there was a lot of pushback on it, but now that there's an entitlement, people are like, wait, we're entitled to this.
Yeah.
It's the same
Yeah.
thing. Now,
So I'm hearing 3 layers. One is if it's there, it's not going away. Second part with Sweeney and one of the few things that Sweeney and the governor agree on is so while both of them are there, it's likely that directionally it will continue. Nobody knows how fast, and whatever. And then all bets are off beyond that, because you don't know what it's going to be.
I think if you look at, so you have your 31 districts that are protected under a court decision. There were 4, and we have what's called our school funding formula was passed in 2008, which included preschool expansion. But remember what happened in 2008? The economy took a dip, so it wasn't ever paid for. There was no funding, but the law is there. So, but you had 4 districts in 2008 that were ready that the Department of Education got in. Now they are not protected under the court decision, but have been funded for the last 10 years, 11 years. So nobody took that money away from them. There's 4 districts. Now you have this. Now you have all of these other districts that the expansion dollars that would be required. You'd have to meet the same Abbott standard of 15 kids in a class, research-based curriculum, a teacher with a bachelor's degree, specialized training in early childhood, comparable salary. But you're getting the money for the salary. It's not like you're not. It's not like you have to find. You're getting the money for the salary. So that's kind of what it is. So what does expansion look like in the future? We assume that it will go forward because the political climate is in support of it, both certainly at the state level, but there's a national tide besides our president that are more supportive to that. So that's Molly. That's my own impression is that the money will continue to be there. What it will be increased. So you have one classroom, it doesn't get, but you have districts who are implementing it now that are not meeting their universe. So the Department of Education is talking to them about what's your plan in 5 years to get to your universe.
That's what Steve also said. He reckons it's going to take 5 years, typically, for a school district from start to getting all their kids covered with the quality.
Right, with the
So the combination of those 2, it's a 5-year window. So anybody hasn't started now, it's it's way out there.
So, Christy, I'm thinking about what you said. So, I want you to think about a district like Newark or Trenton. What your experience in Morristown is not unique.
Right.
20 years ago, it happened there. Like, where are we going to put all these kids? The only difference was you had the hammer of the court to say you got to do it in 19 months. So that not that they were at full capacity, fully, but that's the difference. That's the difference. So districts, in theory, should be thinking about, so where are my programs? And I got to tell you, this is new to a lot of Morris was ahead of the.
Yeah, they're way ahead.
Ahead of the, you know, when they were just an LA district, I remember lots of conversations with that district about how can we get money, right? But that's it. Okay.
But now in Madison, we've got a district who's got its head buried so deep in the sand, and their only concern right now is full day kindergarten.
Right.
Well, that's a whole other.
That's a whole other.
Nobody's
but
going to answer to that one.
No. We are talking about it. There's been a bill for years. The problem is there's been a bill in both the Senate and the Assembly to require full day kindergarten. The problem is districts like Madison that push back because we can't build buildings. And
We can't. We don't have the money. We can't build buildings. But by the same token, Morristown and Madison are right close together, and we share populations.
Yep.
And people are beginning to ask. We've had conversations with the school board president. People are starting to. So when is my child? When are we going to get? When are we going to get free pre-K?
See, that's when it's really going to happen.
So let me
It's
just
when
tell
the
you,
people
in the short
engage on
term,
that.
Harriet, Morris Township can subcontract with you if they're smart. It doesn't have to be within the parameters of the community. It would, if you're interested, that's something you go to Morris Township and say, I can provide for you.
To be honest, that would be a crowbar with our district, because it's like either you start talking to us because it's coming, and you know, if we're going to provide infant toddler, we need preschool in order to do that. So either we serve our whole community and you speak with us, or we're going to go talk to Morristown then.
You should you see, they are not eligible for the money. They're not. Madison is not eligible for the money.
I know.
But Morris is. But
from a parent's perspective, again, people who aren't privy to this stuff, a lot of us are still catching up.
Yep.
Right.
Parents don't know this. All they know is, wait a minute, so over by the Blake Center, they're getting free pre-K.
Yep.
What's going on here?
Yep.
And
Well, you just think about, I live in Convent Station, right?
yeah,
We sit in the border of Madison. It's easier for the kids that live around us to go to you than it is to go up to Head Start or even to Children on the Green, because it's through town and it's on the other side.
But if they hear free, they're going to get in their cars and they're going to go.
absolutely.
But it'll be easier. But they won't have to, because the Morris School District are busing.
The Morris.
They'll have to, because they're
They have to provide busing.
They're a busing district. So
They don't have
If
to.
need be.
They don't have to, but they can.
For
have to.
in district.
For
Yeah,
in
no, they
district.
don't have to.
Well, they
do.
think they do.
Yeah,
They think they do.
for our center in Morristown, they have to. That's what I was told. They don't have to bus to the Blake, but they will. But we don't think we're going to need busing to Blake because
But within
you all
that's
need
what they
wraparound
say.
there, so parents are going to drop
Is
off
it
it.
if a district already buses,
They have to bus.
don't they have to?
Do they bust your kindergartners?
Yes.
We
Yeah.
bus,
So
and we
that's-
get bused
yeah.
all day to our
They
center
have
because we
to bus.
take aftercare for
Got
Lafayette.
it. Okay. Okay.
They
So
have to bus
let's
them
just make
because-
sure. So it's Boonton, Dover, Lincoln Park.
Wait, Lincoln Park?
Yeah.
They
They're all
qualified, but they
eligible.
didn't apply.
Oh,
Right.
Oh,
No, I'm just saying. So you guys know Lincoln
in
Park,
Lincoln Park.
Mine Hill
I don't have another
Township,
baby right now.
Morris, Netcong, Rockaway, and Wharton. They're all the ones that are now eligible.
Rockaway, Necom,
Lincoln Park, Mine Hill.
Mine
You know
Hill,
what that
yeah,
is.
they're
Where's
Mine Hill is up by Dover.
Yeah, Mine Hill is like a postage stamp.
Tiny town. Yeah.
Super small.
So it has. So what happened was in the third, there had been 3 rounds. The third round, they reduced it to 20% of federal eligible for free and reduced.
Right, but none of those apply.
No, no. I can tell you. Okay, so this is so tell us in the few minutes that we have, what does this mean for you guys? Are you worried? Are you talking to your districts? So you're Christine, obviously you're talking. What,
We're talking. Yeah,
Danielle,
we've
what
talked.
about you?
Parsippany is huge. I mean, really, really big. So we haven't even talked about it.
Okay, anybody, even if you're not anybody talking about transition with the district, whether they're eligible for the funds or not?
Meaning how we spoke.
Well, yeah, like, are you talking to them about transition practices?
They don't even want to talk. It's
Madison
just-
is difficult.
We're busy.
Oh.
It's not full stop as much as I really do think they're spinning your wheels big time trying to figure out how to get free full day kindergarten for September.
Okay, so this has nothing
for
really
fall.
to do with your kids are going to their district, right? So transition has nothing to do with full day kindergarten. They're going to get them.
Right.
So so I think the reason why I bring this up is building relationships.
Yeah.
That's a conversation that can be had, should be going on regardless.
We do in-house registration, so district comes to us and registers our kids
Great.
at our center for us. And then we also do like a kindergarten orientation, not orientation, but like a information night. And we open that up, like all centers under the Y can go and speak to kindergarten teachers and those who kind of have an idea of what really is developmentally appropriate entering into kindergarten.
So Morris is serving 15% of its population.
15%. Because they don't have the housing. They don't have the space.
And they'll talk to anybody. If you want somebody to talk to, go
Yes.
talk to the morris2 district.
Karen Andre.
And Andrea will talk to you. We're going to talk to
Yeah.
the superintendent on Monday about this to try and understand where they're.
I mean, we would love
Where
to do
they-
that.
Talk to them.
Call Ashley. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the goal is the goal of the district should be to get as many kids in as possible and do it through a mixed, you can't do it without mixed learning.
Morris School District are not shy. They'll suck anybody in.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
I'm sorry. I
but they
didn't-
are good. That's what, we need more.
Karen Andre has
examples
been a
of that.
visionary in this.
In terms of like transitions with the school district, we work really closely with Parsippany School District.
Good, that's great.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah, because there are some. I'm listening to you, Harriet. So those conversations, even around transition practices, aren't always happening. In
No.
Where do you begin to have a conversation about these? My kids are coming to your.
Right.
So sometimes transition is kind of that connection. Okay, how are we doing for time? So what? Are
we
so-
ending at
5 minutes.
11:30?
Yeah.
We have 5 minutes.
Okay, so Madison, they're not eligible. Parsippany isn't eligible yet, because eventually they will have to serve any at-risk kids in full funding. So thinking about what you're doing before
Is
that
that
happens.
the end game? It's just at-risk kids? When they say universal, is it just universal at-risk kids? Or is it universal?
So the law is 40% or more, it's universal. 20%, anything under, it's targeted. So in theory, a district that's at 20% is only supposed to be, under the law, is only supposed to be covering the children who are low income. I'm not sure how they're doing this, because it's not the law at the 20%.
Yeah, they're not following the law, right?
Well, they are for the 40%.
Right.
So if you're a Morris, you're above 40% of your free and reduced. So you're serving to serve your universe.
So
I'm
that's
not
going
quite-
to universe, right?
40% or more. That's what the law says. Anything else, every child
Oh, it follows the
would be
child.
targeted. Yeah.
How did they even find those kids?
So it's eligible for free and
Yeah,
reduced.
free and
They're
reduced
eligible for
lunch,
free and
yeah.
reduced. That's how it is.
There was
You know,
like
I'm in a
paperwork.
district-
All these families that are sitting out, they've never had a kid in school. You don't know who they are. Until,
Right, so
you know where they
the
are when they
outreach,
turn
the
up at
outreach is
school.
important.
Outreach is
Yeah,
more
outreach is-
important in those districts.
Absolutely right, because that's the Burnsville issue. They don't even know that these kids exist,
Right.
and then they turn up at school.
Right.
No transition for them. No,
Right.
no nothing.
Right.
So it's a huge issue.
So it's
why
maybe
finding
working
them.
with Head Start. It's working with Head Start programs. Districts saying, okay, that's what they could be doing. That's a logical place to start the conversation. Because those kids are eligible.
Yeah, it's just not a lot of Head Starts in that area because it's a higher income community.
No, but you have, but you have, right, you're absolutely right.
Yes,
They
that's
have
the
they have a
problem.
real problem, those.
Because they don't address those counties that have very minimal number of low income families don't have a lot of services, so the
Right.
recruitment's going to be much harder.
Right.
But they exist.
They're buried in the community. I mean, it's
Right,
really hard.
right, but they exist, so it's going to be harder to find them. But the outreach has to be much more extensive. Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be. And when do you know you've actually done it? That's the bit that I don't know how to do.
So let me ask you, and then we have to sign out. But and what would help you around preschool expansion as providers? Information? How does it work? I mean, what do you think? Because the train is left. I mean, it's a small train, but they're adding cars.
Carts, yeah.
So, what would help you?
What NEAR are going to do should be helpful. Right?
What? I'm sorry.
What NEAR are planning to do with this grant they've got.
Okay, so did they mention ACNJ? Did Ellen mention ACNJ? Because it's a partnership. I'm gonna kill her.
They just said we got a grant,
Yeah.
and we're at the very, very early stages
Yeah.
of figuring out how we do it. They're going to go out into school districts, as I
Yes,
understand,
we're
into
doing
school
it
districts
together.
and into private partners,
Right.
providers, and start to help
Right.
make those.
And we're
connections.
doing the
That's what
same
I
on that.
understand.
They're doing the districts, and we're working collaboratively, and we're going to work with the R&Rs to bring in.
So that's we didn't
to
get into
train
detail, but they've
to train childcare programs as to what they can do to start this process.
yeah, that's really great because that's what's been missing.
Yeah. Wait till I get out.
I think getting people up to speed on the thing is changing.
Yeah.
I won't say changing; it's evolving so quickly that it's really hard when you've got your head in the weeds. 90% of the time, it's hard to keep up with all of that, and it's hard to know what the late breaking news is,
Sure.
or even what direction to talk about advocacy, because you're pedaling as hard as you can to keep up.
And you might be in an infant room holding babies all day.
You got that right.
Right. So I think we're going to work with Rebecca's team to have something here in Morris County to train providers. Do you think that people would be interested in coming?
It's a crapshoot.
I'm just going to say I think it'll depend. Some of them will go right over.
Yes.
Right.
the top of the
I mean, I think that there'll always be a percentage of people, but we're going to try to educate them. But I mean, you're the classic example. You've got a district right now that's looking for places, but I'm surprised Karen hasn't been in touch with you. Karen Andre, I'm surprised.
Well, they've been up to their neck in something.
No, I mean, I think but I don't know if the district knows if they can go outside there.
Oh no, they have because the Morris Y is already outside.
We're at,
okay.
the Morris
Okay.
Y is
It's
out of
already
district
outside
already.
outside the district.
Got it. So they do now. Okay, great.
Yeah, but we kind of fell into that, because they came, Karen said something to me, and I said, and the qualifications were you had to be able to provide at least 6 classrooms. And then they were like, all right, we'll take 3. I'm like, even if I tore down walls, I have no more than 1 classroom that's going to fit any of your criteria. And we were grandfathered into some criteria.
No grandfather.
Because we were
Grace talked
Ellie,
about it.
thank God. We were
Right.
Ellie to begin with. Like bathrooms inside the classrooms, and square footage is really you have to eliminate. If you have cubbies in your room, that doesn't count as square footage.
Right.
So it's really
Strip it down.
crazy. So I said I can't give you more than 1 classroom, but I was like, but we're under this Y umbrella. Certainly, we can give you 6 in general, but they might be at different locations. I said the Y's, and Children's Corner is in district, but the Y's not. So I don't know if they kind of did some. Luckily, because they wanted other classrooms so badly, maybe they made the exception for Blake. But who's to say they won't do the same?
Yeah.
If you can offer a bunch of classrooms too.
Well, Wharton,
And your classrooms
Wharton's are all out of district as well. They
They have Head Start.
Yeah,
because of
Head
Head Start. Yeah. Okay, so let me just ask Diane, did we cover everything?
I think we did.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
And then some.
And then some. I mean, you guys have been wonderful. Thank you for being
Thank you.
honest. Thank you for. It helps. We are only as good as what we hear from all of you. It helps our policy agenda strengthening it. And there's nothing. There is nothing like when we can go to a legislator and say, here's the data, and this is what we've heard. It's better when we say, here's the data, and here's someone from your legislative district. So we may call on you to come with us.
This is the next best
This
thing.
is the next step, because it does help us understand what's happening in classrooms. So you have my email. It's crice. It's so easy. crice@acnj.org. If you think of something, and to thank you. Did you finish this?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. If you would just put your initial next to your name. Okay, terrific. Thank you, Danielle. And this is just a little gift.
Is that the sign here? 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 Is that the sign